Let's see if that works. Jaya Radha Madhova Kunya Bihagate Ramadhava Kunya Bihagate Jaya Radha Madhova Kunya Bihagate Gopinana Malaba Kirivanagute Gopinana Malaba Kirivanagute Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodananda Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachagute Yamuna Tira Vanachagute Jaya Radhu Madhuva Kunya Bihagute Jaya Radhu Madhuva Kunya Bihagute Gopi Jana Ballabha Irivana Dhavute Gopi Jana Ballabha Irivana Dhavute Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachare Yamana Tera Vanachare Jaya Radhu Madhuva Kunya Bihagate Joy Radhu Madhuva Kunya Bihagate Jai Om Vishnu Pai Paramahansa Paravidakacharya Alstateta Sitashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abayat Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Prabhupada ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavanam ki jai, Maturadam ki jai, Jagannath Swami ki jai, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Srimati Lasi Devi ki jai, Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shivade Bhakti Vedanta Samani Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nivashesha Shinivadi Paschatra Zatarane Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today we are reading from the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 66th chapter, text 2. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Twang Vasudeva Bhagavan Avatirno Jagatpati Iti Prashtobito Valair Mena Atmanam Achutam Tvam Vasudeva Bhagavan Avatirno Jagatpati Iti Prashto Vito Valair Mena Atmanam Achutam Tvam Vasudeva Bhagavan Avatirno Jagatpati Iti Prashto Vitovalar Mena Atmanam Achyutam Twang Vasudeva Bhagavan Avatirno Jagatpati Iti Prashto Vitovalar Mena Atmanam Achyutam. Okay. ladies. Well, right? Tvam, you. Vasudeva, Vasudeva. Bhagavan, the full. Wait a second. Sorry. The Supreme Lord. Avatirna, descended. Jagat, of the universe. Pati, the master. Iti, thus. Pastobita, emboldened with flattery. Balai, by childish men. Mene, he imagined. Atmanam, himself. Achutam, the infallible Lord. Translation: Pondraka was emboldened by the flattery of childish men who told him, "You are Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord and Master of the universe, who have now descended to the earth." Thus he imagined himself to be the infallible personality of God. So you can repeat. Pondraka was emboldened by the flattery of childish men who told him, "You are Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord and Master of the universe, who have now descended to the earth." Thus he imagined himself to be the infallible personality of Godhead. So the purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Pondraka foolishly accepted the flattery of ignorant persons. And short commentaries by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami. Being encouraged by ignorant people by their praise, he considered himself the Supreme Lord. And Jiva Goswami says his foolishness and sending the messenger are described in 2 verses. You are Vasudeva, since you pervade all beings, and you are Bhagavan, endowed with all powers. Thus you, the Lord of the universe, have not appeared on earth. He thought he was the Lord. In other words, he's saying this to Krishna. Thus you have not appeared on earth. He thought he was the Lord, full of all powers, Achutam. So, again, Vam Vasudevo Bhagavan Vavatirno Jagatpati Iti Prasto Vito Balar Mena Atmanam Achutam. So, Om Gana Timbiramdasha Guranjana Shalakea Chakshur Unmeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this is actually very interesting how he has been convinced by the praises he has gotten. Very, very interesting phenomena. And of course, it's mentioned that people are praising him. They're very foolish persons. And there may be other motives other than they're just simply idiots. Because they don't know the qualities of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavan means, very beautiful, not very, unlimitedly beautiful. And obviously this Pondraka was not unlimitedly attractive or beautiful in physical form. I mean, obviously had some deformities, as every one of you and every one of us has. He wasn't unlimitedly wealthy, unlimitedly powerful, unlimitedly strong, unlimitedly intelligent. All these different qualities, unlimitedly renounced. He definitely wasn't renounced. And he wasn't unlimitedly famous. That's how we understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by these particular qualities. So, in one sense, they'd have to be extremely foolish. But my understanding is nobody's that foolish. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, actually, you do see, yes, got to correct myself. You do see people nowadays, or within the last 100 years, who accept people as incarnations of God, who are basically really sorely lacking in those different characteristics. I don't know if people actually believe they're in God. Maybe they do. Maybe they're so foolish. They actually believe that someone who is ugly, not only attractive, is God. Actually, anyway, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So maybe they do believe. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt for their stupidity. The benefit of the doubt for stupidity. But I also think there's something else going on here. Because I don't think everyone is stupid. But you can fool some of the people some of the time. And all the people some of the time. But not all the people all the time. So I think many of the people, I mean, this is just my realization, many of the people who are praising Apundrika are doing so for ulterior purposes. I mean, right now, sorry about this, for those of you who are politically inclined, right now in the politics, well, not just right now, but now it's actually quite obvious, more obvious than ever, that we find different political leaders who should remain nameless to protect me. They're praised by these people, yes men, or in India called chanchas, yes man, or we call them bootlickers, or they lick another part of the body which we can't mention right now. Brown nosers. Anyway, and they do that for a particular purpose. You actually see people tend to agree with you because they're protecting their position. They want something. And sometimes you see in the last election, we saw people supporting, I'm not mentioning which candidate, particular candidate, because they had some financial interests. It's called pecuniary. That is a fancy word to teach you all. Pecuniary interests, which means financial interests. And so, actually, what is that statement in the Bhagavatam? Those are like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. Praise those. Asvavidrai, hostrakrai, samstuta, pashu. Nayakarna padote peta, jatunama gadagrasha. So people like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses, and they praise those who are do not have the qualities. So, anyway, so you find that in all sorts of spheres. The political sphere, the financial sphere, the workplace. You got to praise your boss. The Hare Krishna movement? No. Obviously today's class is about praising. So, because people want something. I always give this typical example that many years ago, because nowadays I don't buy cars anymore, but when I would go to the car dealer, they would praise me. Oh, Mr. Swami. And they remember my name. How are you? Oh, you're so intelligent. And actually, even the devotees who distribute books do this too. Like Prabhupada said, when you approach someone, actually this is coming, I think, from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When you approach someone, you say, oh, you're so intelligent. You have so many good qualities. Now you forget it all. Forget everything you've learned. So you praise. And also there's this whole program called, what is it, the 1 Minute Manager, where you actually praise someone and then correct them, and then praise them at the end. You have we were taught this in ISKCON, which is, I rejected it completely because it's highly manipulative. You understand? It's called a sandwich. Anyone's heard about this before? It's a sandwich. But in this particular sandwich, the nice part is the crust. That part is what's inside. Most sandwiches, right? Most sandwiches, the crust or the outside is not the greatest part, but what in between the slices of bread. So in this particular sandwich, what you do is you praise someone for a certain period of time. Oh, let me pick someone in the room. Uh, oh, Daya, you're just such a intelligent person. And then I say, why'd you put on T-lock properly? There's the correct. You do. You have it on this. And then after that, I said, but it's great that you put on T-lock every day. So that's highly manipulative. So therefore, there's all these statements that he who praises me is my enemy. Because they're trying to get something from you, butter you up. And there's so many different things they may be trying to get from you, which I mentioned before. There's also the statement, he who criticizes me is my friend, or corrects me is my friend. But it's very hard to take that. Generally, we want to think, as stated, I'm okay, you're okay. But Prabhupada was actually very much to the point. I remember sitting in the class. This is a class that I've cited many, many times. Prabhupada was talking about this, Yatamat Tatapad. Yatamat Tatapad. I think that comes from Vivekananda or someone, right? So Prabhupada was giving class, and he said, they say, I'm okay, you're okay, Yatamat Tatapad. And Prabhupada said, I'm okay, you're not okay. So Prabhupada was not into flattering people. He just wasn't. Prabhupada did not give that, he did not manipulate people at all. That's one amongst many other good qualities that Prabhupada had. That's one quality. He was just very honest. Satya, truthfulness. He was always truthful. Prabhupada never changed anything just to please the masses. Sometimes you find people who say that Prabhupada adjusted some of the presentation of the Siddhanta or something like that just to attract people. No, Prabhupada would never do that. Prabhupada just spoke the truth. I was just listening to a class. Prabhupada was citing, oh my God, it was actually pretty heavy. But anyway, I'm not going to quote the heavy part. Prabhupada was citing this verse from Lord Rishabhadev. Nayam deho deha vajam niloke kastam kamham arhate vidbujam ye tapo divyam putraka yena satvat sudyat yasmad brahmashoka chunan tam. 5th canto. That my dear sons, he's talking to his sons. Normally you talk to his sons. Actually, one's supposed to chastise their sons up until they're 18. Then you're their friends. But anyway, he was really heavy with his sons. My dear sons, Nayam Deho Deha Bhajam Riloke. You have taken a human body. You should not act like pigs. Basically, custom kamam arhate vidbujamye. The word for pig, vidbujam, means stool eaters. But you should engage in austerities. And that's the business of the parent, the spiritual master, the leader, whether it's a political leader or whatever. The business is to engage sometimes in cutting language rather than praising people. I'm okay, you're okay. And so we find the same thing taking place in the Bhagavad Gita. That, Arjuna expresses his nonsense. It is nonsense. But it's not Krishna conscious. I'm not saying he's nonsense, there's a difference. but he was speaking some nonsense. That, I'm not going to fight because I'm afraid. I'm enjoying I want to enjoy the kingdom. If I kill my relatives, I can't enjoy the kingdom. And obviously, if I get killed, I won't enjoy the kingdom. So it's to let them kill me, or better leave the battlefield. And it's just what you're speaking learned words, but it's not appropriate. Krishna just chastised him. This is not according to the Kshatriya. Kshatriya's dharma is not appropriate. So anyway, so Krishna chastises Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and then Arjuna says, I'll become your disciple, So tell me, please instruct me. And for the rest of the Bhagavad Gita, it's not so much chastisement after that. Mostly, it's Arjuna presenting his doubts at the beginning of certain chapters, and then Krishna answering the doubts as the chapters progress. So in any case, that's the methodology for dealing, or how someone should deal with people who are under your jurisdiction, not just I'm okay, you're okay. So what about praise? What part does it play in the Krishna consciousness movement? And how should we take it if we are praised? And obviously, we're told many times we're supposed to praise devotees, glorify devotees. So, okay, first we should try to understand how we should take it if someone just gives us praise. Let's say someone says to me, "You are simply wonderful." I remember an experience like Prabhupada had, that he was riding in a car with Sridhar Maharaj, you know the story. And, and then Sridhar Maharaj was saying to Prabhupada after the lecture, "That was wonderful, Prabhupada. That was so wonderful." And Prabhupada looked at him and said, "Hare Krishna." So, all right, so Prabhupada, let's talk about this. Prabhupada took it that whatever he was able to present was coming from Krishna. And he was simply a servant of Krishna, and Krishna was empowering him, and Krishna was giving him the intelligence, and Krishna was giving him the ability, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm the intelligence of the intelligent, and the strength of the strong, ability of man, all these other different statements. Yes, but Prabhupada didn't take credit for those things. He just didn't take credit. He didn't think, you with an ordinary conditioned soul, you puff them up by doing that. Puff them up means you make them prouder and prouder and prouder. And this is a danger. Pride comes before the fall, and of course we're supposed to cultivate. Trinadapi sunichena tador ivasihishna manina manadena. And so that's how we should take it if someone praises us. General praise. But I want to be more specific and talk about something, a division or a subdivision of praise called appreciation, which is different than general praise. And actually, in most cases, it's not appropriate to give general praise to people. General praise means you're so wonderful, you're so great, you're God. That's general praise. But there's a specific subdivision of praise, if we can call it a subdivision of praise, called appreciation, which actually helps a devotee and encourages a devotee to perform their service and deepen their connection with Krishna. And what is the difference between praise and appreciation, or just general praise and appreciation? Of course, this is something I teach in Bhagavad Communication. General praise is just like we said before. Great, great, you're wonderful, you're fantastic, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're strong, you get six-pack abs. Anyway, so that's general praise. But appreciation is an expression of what specifically someone did and how it contributed to Krishna consciousness, or how it contributed to your own Krishna consciousness. I'll give you a specific example. Let's say I'm giving a class. That's not just theoretical. I am giving a class. But let's say theoretically, or actually, I'm giving a class, and in the class, after the class, there's pick on Daya again, and Daya says, "That was a wonderful class." That's general praise. And then, of course, I'll reply, "What did I say?" And she'll probably say, "Not, just not picking on you." You'll probably say, "It was wonderful in general. But what specifically was wonderful?" She said, it was so wonderful. I was just overwhelmed. And then I get from that, she's praising me. She didn't listen to class either. This is not specifically about you. I'm just using you because you're... And actually, the statement, it's really important that when you chastise someone, it indicates, I'm not chastising her, but you chastise, it indicates a close relationship. Like you see, when Prabhupada had close relationships with people, he would chastise them more. Like you hear from Sasru Maharaj how much he was chastised. And, even TKG and others, they get chastised because that indicates, Prabhupada said that indicates a close relationship. Anyway, so that's general praise. And you think, that means the person didn't hear, and either they're buttering me up. Guru Maharaj, can I take the day off? I'm not saying she would do that. Guru Maharaj, can I go to India? Can I go to India this year? Guru Maharaj, can I have a new mobile phone? So anyway, so then you understand it's not really helpful to you, and there's whatever. It's not as genuine. So, but if she said, when you said, specifically referring to this class, that you should be very specific and appreciate what someone has done to contribute to your Krishna consciousness, contribute to the movement, and how it fulfills a particular need you have, I'm happy because I heard you distributed 5,000 books yesterday. That's a lot. As I died, you distributed 5,000 books yesterday. And really, this fulfills Prabhupada's mood to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. Wow. Thank you. So that actually makes a person more encouraged to serve Krishna. It doesn't puff them up. So it's really important to understand the distinction between appreciation, because Prabhupada did appreciate. I mean, there's letters where Prabhupada expressed appreciation for the book distribution, and one specific letter to Jayananda expressing appreciation of his performing Rath Yatra. And the interesting thing is, when Prabhupada expressed appreciation for something, he asked them to do more. Like when there's a book distribution, he said, very nice, now you should double it. Prabhupada was expert in how to encourage the devotees rather than making them proud of their particular situation. A pauper is proud of his penny. So here we see in this particular verse that our friend Pondraka has enemies who are puffing him up. That's what's described in this verse. It's because he thought he was God because people were praising him. So the another point is we can believe anything about ourselves if people say it enough. Even if it's something crazy, we can start to believe it. Just like Prabhupada told the story, the Gopal Bhan story, that all his friends conspired against him to convince him he was a ghost. You know, he heard it enough times. What do they say? If you tell a lie enough times that everybody believes it, it becomes a so-called truth. So Gopal Bhan, anyone who came in contact with him said, "Oh, you become a ghost," right? The Prabhupada told the story. And so he said, "No, I haven't." So after 2 or 3 or 4 times, he said, "I become a ghost." So we can become convinced. And that's a danger in spiritual life, where people give the general praise, not the specific appreciation. People give this general praise, and we've mentioned this many times before, as one advanced in devotional service. That is a cause of anarthas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that. That is devotional service is itself, the praise or the reciprocation that one gets. One becomes very, very proud, thinking oneself a great devotee, or even an incarnation. One can actually think like that. Sometimes, there's a friend who's an astrologer, and he says, "You have the same, Sagittarius as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Such an amazing horoscope. So one has to be very careful of that. I'm not saying that sincere statements, but you have to be careful when you hear a lot of good things about yourself, because you start to believe it, and then the anarthas increase, and then your ability to hear and chant the holy names decreases, and your humility becomes non-existent. So, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Akom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. pritimanti pasyanti panti kayanti chiram naganti ananda chinmaya sadhu jala vigrahasya govindam adipurusham amaham bhajami govindam adipurusham amaham bhajami govindam adipurusham amaham bhajami govindam adipurusham amaham bhajami govindam
Adipurusham. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishaya Putare Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Vishnu Padaya Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Bhagavani Vajahane, Nirvisisha, Shunyavadi, Matsyajalade, Sajalade. Jai Shri Krishna Ramanujjananda Yadvaita Gadada Siva Sade Gauratu Vrinda Krishna Nirana Ramanujjananda Siva Sade Gauratu Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Rat, Jaya Rat, Jai Om Vishnupad